I get it now. Let me explain. In VW's SUV section, they have the T-Cross, the T-Roc, the Tiguan, the Touareg, and the new one called the Tayron, coming soon. And the Tiguan is actually Volkswagen's most popular SUV, having sold over 7.5 million worldwide. That's the population of Jamaica and New Zealand combined. If you're from New Zealand, I was trying to do the hacker, like, please don't rugby tackle me. But why is the Tiguan so popular? Being brutally honest, I absolutely love the look of this thing. It's not too big, it's not too small. It's practically a VW Golf wearing Air Forces. And in this spec, with the 20-inch alloys, persimmon red metallic, soul black interior seats, and having the optional black styling pack, proper ties it in. Now, despite this being an amazing SUV, the Tiguan only offers two all-wheel drive systems. You've got the 2-litre TSI, and then you have the Tiguan R, which is a bit of money. Which means for many people, you're gonna get the front wheel drive version, but it works because you have an electrically controlled differential on the front, and you also have the vehicle dynamic system, which works in tandem with that and the dynamic chassis control to give you grip in most conditions. Now, in the belly of this beast, we have a 1.5 turbocharged petrol engine, and Volkswagen claimed that you can have around 50.8 mpg. And in eco mode, during an 100-mile journey, I managed to get 50 miles per gallon. 50 miles per gallon, 1.5 ETSI engine. But again, I was mainly on the motorway, so the engine was sat at 70 miles an hour all the time, I promise, using the adaptive cruise control, and it done it. I think I probably could have got more if I was doing 50, if I was doing 60 and coasting a bit, but I'll take that. So it's efficient. That's great, but can this SUV with around 150 brake horsepower and 250 newton meters of torque beat its acclaimed 0 to 62 time of 9.1 seconds? Let's find out. Come on. We'll get there, I promise. And 60. And there we have it, 0 to 60 in 8.74. SUV 1.5 litre turbocharged engine. Is it pokey enough? What do you think? Now, the reason why I think the Tiguan is also so popular is because they have 7 engine variants. Listen to this. So you've got 2 mild hybrids putting out 130 and 150 horsepower, a diesel engine with around 150, 2 1.5 plug-in hybrids putting out 204 and 272 horsepower, and 2 2-litre TSI engines, 204 and 265. I don't think many other brands offer that sort of variety. Now, if I had to choose from one of those engines, it would definitely be a plug-in hybrid. Why? I'm buying an SUV, namely because of its space, and if I am buying an SUV, that's probably because I plan to do long journeys. Don't get me wrong, you can do long journeys in any car, but in terms of being comfortable, again, with this having the dynamic chassis control as an optional extra, it's an absolute no-brainer to go for something that gives you more miles. And of course you could get a diesel, but who wants a diesel? You probably want to go for the 1.5 plug-in hybrid with around 272 horsepower, and that's more than enough, because 150 is, in all honesty, with this sort of weight, probably a bit too slow. But again, not everyone wants to go quick. Some people are happy to just sit in a slow lane or sit in a middle lane and let people overtake. And if that's one of you, just get off the road. But jokes aside, a 1.5 TSI engine, this one, the ETSI, where it does work with that 48 volt battery system, it has a place mainly for commuting or the school run. You've got loads of kids, hence why you want an SUV. Again, do not buy an SUV if you don't have people in the back often. You don't need to have kids, I'm not saying that, but don't buy an SUV unless, because you're just killing the world, mate. You're taking up spaces in Tesco when you don't have to. You could just cycle. Now, in terms of options, this has the dynamic chassis control, and if you're buying any SUV, you definitely want to check that box, meaning from comfort to sport to eco, the suspension changes based on the drive modes, and on roads like this, and even roads like this, you definitely want some smooth suspension. And talking all things size and space, there is more than enough space at the front, more than enough space in the rear. Look at that. Look at the headroom in here. And when it comes to the boot, which is luckily electronically controlled, there is tons of space. Again, we've got this pram in here. If I slide this just this way, you can still line up some shopping in the space here. So as an SUV, it does what it says on the tin. And just down here, you have this rather beautiful volume control button, which when pressed allows you to change the drive modes that we have here: Eco, Comfort, Sport, and Individual. And I love Individual because you can actually choose how you want the car set up: soft dampers, smooth steering, and aggressive throttle. Lovely. So as a package, I can definitely see why the Tiguan is Volkswagen's most popular SUV. Obviously the R-Line is going to be amazing, but as a whole, nothing would change from the specs, from R-Line all the way down to the base spec. You'd still have the same space. Sure, you might not have the seats and the looks, but as a whole and as a car, the Tiguan does it all, plus a bit more. So believe it or not, the only thing I don't like about this car is that they're trying to save money. Interior is absolutely beautiful, but down here, how do you get in gear? Oh, over here, we have your select button for your gear. So you have your gear selector here. Drive, neutral, park, sport mode. It's all over here on the stalk, which isn't where I like it. It just looks a bit weird. Very similar to what Cooper have done with the Born. So maybe they're just trying to save money across the platforms. And your wipers are over here where your indicator is, which is annoying because sometimes you indicate and then your wipers go off, because on the back you can see I can control the front, and yeah, it just gets a bit crazy up in here. Being brutally honest, I get why people make this claim that they think they own the road, because you do. I'm sitting above 80% of cars on the road, other than the bin collectors. I'm sitting on top. I can see far ahead, which is good visibility, but more importantly, it gives you more confidence. And if I stand at 5'11", that's not tall by any means, but if I was a small person, having that confidence to be able to see quite far ahead is going to do you well when it comes to driving. Being in a comfortable position up here, just like you're sitting in a chair as opposed to sitting on the floor in a hatchback. No offense, lady. The driving position makes a big difference, and with the Tiguan, you get that. You've got the heads-up display here, which is great. Allows me to keep my eyes on the road, as you should be anyway. But like I said, if you are in an SUV, 9 times out of 10, you want the space and you want the driving position, because jumping out of my weekend or my track car, which is a coupe, low to the ground, this is a breath of fresh air. Despite this being an SUV, it's not a big, ugly SUV. From afar, most people could probably say it's very X3M in shape. So that, by any means, is a good-looking car. And I would say that when it comes to day-to-day tasks like maneuvering or parking even, there is no problem. This, of course, luckily has the 360-degree camera, meaning I can see absolutely everything. But even without that, personally, I feel the Tiguan is probably one of the best SUVs on the road today. It's a shame that there is no R at the minute. You never know. There could be another one coming. Stay tuned for that. But I honestly get it. Space, looks, efficiency, if you buy the right engine, or any of those engines, to be fair, because they all do well, you can't beat it. And why it's so popular? Again, I had this conversation with Grant, actually, at a recent VW test day. Volkswagen are known to be, in my opinion anyway, and all the Volkswagens that I've owned growing up, efficient, reliable, spacious.
According to ChatGPT, I'm sorry, but the query is unclear and difficult to
That's because I'm not talking to you. And as I said, when I spoke to Grant, reliable and affordable are two main things that everybody cares about, and a Tiguan definitely does that. So aside from the drive selection stalk, I would say that this car does what it says on the tin, and hand on heart, I can honestly see why it's so popular. So that being said, guys, that is the video. If you have enjoyed it, please smash the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see all of your beautiful faces in the next one. Take care and God bless.